Riffology.
Where's that from?
What, the scale that I just used? It was Led Zeppelin scale.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it a minor scale?
It knows both, actually. It had a major third and then a
No
minor
way.
third. Yeah, I did both at the same
I didn't know
time.
you could do that.
Well, you can because,
Are you allowed to do that?
No, but...
I like that. I like that you're not allowed to, and you did it.
No, people don't like it.
Do they not?
But it's all right. You see, because Led Zeppelin did things like that.
They were bonkers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Properly bonkers. They did just stuff. You can't pin them down. This album, we're going to cover Physical Graffiti, and it's an album that is like it feels to me like four
chapters,
mini albums together.
Yeah.
And the thing that hit me is I struggled with this. It's not like there are big hitters on here that obviously I know. The first 4 or 5 tracks I quite like.
Yeah.
And then the album like just meanders off for me.
Yeah.
And it's when you realise that this album was built around vinyl.
Yeah.
And it's a double vinyl.
Yeah.
So that there are 4 sides.
Yeah.
So there's the, you flip
side
your
A,
disc
side
over,
B,
yeah.
but disc 1, disc 2, yeah.
And as soon as that kind of the penny drops and you just like that's kind of what this is. It's like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Is meant to flow, like the fact that you've got to flip the record over is a pain in the arse because it feels like one whole piece. This feels like 4 smaller, and I think it was a total melting pot of stuff. It wasn't like all recorded on the same time. I don't know how. Do you know the thing that hit me with this as well doing the research? I don't know how they made it sound like, because it sounds really coherent. It sounds production sounds like it was all recorded. Like musically it doesn't, but production it sounds like it was all recorded in one place by the same dudes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't at all.
No.
It was this is over 5 years or so, wasn't it?
I think the initial sessions were actually I would say the fragments of the beginning of this album are the other albums. It's like the B-sides or the jams that were recorded or the seeds of this project were actually, some of the things that didn't make it on the other projects. So there's an album called Houses of the Holy with no song on it called Houses of the Holy.
It was supposed to be on it, wasn't it? It was supposed to be on it and then got cut.
Yeah. And then it goes on this instead.
And then,
I think that's the thing about Led Zeppelin to me is that there doesn't seem to be rules. There doesn't seem, like we're doing what we want to do. Yeah. And we're going to put this out on our label now. We're going to put this out like in our way. Jimmy Page was just an absolute nerd when it came to recording techniques.
Yeah, that's true.
Multi-tracking,
like layering.
He kind of created it, really.
Yeah.
That kind of approach.
Yeah.
And so he loved the archiving. He loved going through the archives, figuring out the things, and then making new shapes from it.
So
that's what it sort of
I
feels
loved
like.
a description of him where it said he's more like a painter than a musician.
Yeah,
that he's like painting and adding like layers over the top of things, like before others were doing the similar in the way that he did it. But yeah, he's a really interesting guy, I think, and he's I don't know that with the band as a whole. I mean, like there's no they did like no singles, no videos. The Atlantic in the UK, Atlantic forced the release of singles in the US.
Yeah.
But the band never did videos for them or anything. The band never did it. They were just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's an album. That's what it is.
We're not doing anything here.
You do you, but we're sort of.
And it was bizarre. And this one, of course, was on their own label.
Yeah, they licensed through because they wanted the creative control.
So they had their own label, but then released it through the old record label that did. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah, but I think it was more the idea that like we're Led Zeppelin. We do Led Zeppelin stuff.
Yeah,
and you started to sort of try and tell us what to do, and we're not going to do that. So if you want to put our records out, that's fine. But you're not telling us what to do, so that's our
control.
Yeah.
It is like for me, this is peak classic rock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is getting to that point. 1975. This is getting to a point, I think, where Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is getting to a point where like the rock bands did not have much more sway than they had here. If you think about 1975, you had like the Rolling Stones. I mean, the Beatles had been split up for a while by this point, I think. But
you'd kind of gone through that, and then
but then you got like you got the Who, you'd got Pink Floyd, David Bowie. This for me was like peak like rock god territory. This is where and I think like the influence of this era is still felt today. There's an interesting
well, they're legends, aren't they? When you say those words, those names, those phrases, like you mention those names, and there's a certain amount of reverence that comes with that. Like there was a period of time where if you'd say, "Oh, I like Led Zeppelin," you'd have been like, "Ugh,"
but you now,
like, or I like David Bowie. Oh my God, you don't like him, do you? He's like an old foot, like
it was punk rock,
old rock music.
Punk rock came along and made it because punk wasn't quite thing.
Yeah, it hadn't landed yet.
It was
they were fizzing together, weren't
it was
they?
bubbling, but it didn't exist yet. So like this hadn't become like passé yet. And it did, like you say, it did for maybe 10, 15 years, didn't it? And then people came back to it.
Yeah. But even now, like people are wearing Led Zeppelin shirts and it's a cool thing to wear.
Yeah.
People wear Bowie shirts, it's a cool thing to wear.
There's a lovely bit with Maynard from Tool talking about the ballads in Tool songs being built on cashmere and taking that as the blueprint of how a song can be.
I mean, cashmere in itself is it's the power of the riff.
Oh God,
isn't it? I mean, what a riff, and it's been used everywhere on so many different things. It's like an iconic of all the great Led Zeppelin riffs that exist. Like Black Dog or like A Whole Lot of Love,
Stairway. It's not really a riff, is it? Stairway.
No, I suppose it. Yeah, Whole Lot of Love, and that things like that. And then all of a sudden, Kashmir lands, and it's a totally different feel. It's not that rock and roll feel. It's got a sort of different energy to it. In fact, the whole thing's got quite an Eastern sound to it, but it's got nothing to do with India because they wrote it when it was driving in North Africa. Something like that. Yeah.
I had a long piece of music that I'd been working on, and just on the tail end of it, I just was sort of just jamming, and I had that riff. I had the sort of cascade, which are the trumpet parts and brass parts, and then it goes into the riff. And it was on the tail end of something, and I thought, this is something I really want to try. And I started working on the riff at home because it's around, it keeps going, round and catching up with itself. And I just couldn't wait to get in Headley Grange with John Bonham and do that.
Space. sun burns the ground. And my eyes filled with sand. As I scan this wasted life. Trace like thoughts inside a dream. Here's the path that led me to that place, yellow desert screen. My Shangri-La beneath the summer moon, I will return again. As the dust that floats high into when moving through the sails across the sea of fear, with no provision but an open face, flowing the straits of fear. Whoa, whoa.
think it's important to sort of to look at the whole phenomena of Led Zeppelin, because what it was it was a touring vehicle, and it was touring, playing and including the music from each of the new albums. So we'd just gone through a real lengthy process of touring, and we had a bit of a break, time for people to go on holiday and that with their families, and then the recording date was put in the schedule, and what it was to actually return back to Headley Grange, where we'd done the 4th album, and have a mobile recording truck, a multi-track truck, so we could do exactly the same. We could do exactly the same thing that we did before, which was be in residence, but just eat, breathe, almost sleep music, and be able to push this whole idea that we did on the 4th album even further, and in a really concentrated, focused way. I was so keen to be able to go back to Headley. It was our second visit there, but from the first visit, we got to really I really understood what could be done there and how we could record there in what rooms, and we had the benefit of the hallway, which gave this massive drum sound, and I wanted to return back to have all of these sonic options at your disposal, for the recording, and push it even further. So I actually had quite a number of songs, complete songs like 10 Years Gone, but ideas that I wanted to try. And one of the things that I had was Kashmir, and the riff of Kashmir, this sort of riff that would go round and round and round, because literally musically it's called a round, and that's what it would do. And this idea of having like these interventions of the cascading, it was like electric 12-string I was doing at the time, but to be brass, and cellos to replicate the riff. I had this idea in my head, but I was itching to get there with John Bonham and play this riff, because I knew, and he just loved it, and we just played it over and over and over and over, because it was just the two of us working there at that point of time. And with him, I started bringing out all these ideas that I had, like the Sick Again and Wanton Song and all these things, and it was just really great. It was really great, because I knew that that alone, the stuff that I was bringing in was a really good substantial start to everything. But the fact that numbers would come out of thin air like Rock and Roll had on the 4th album, and like Trampled Underfoot, the things that sort of just come from like an initial sort of John Paul Jones vamping on the electric piano, and the whole thing starts growing and moving, and Robert's on fire, and we got this sort of version on the companion disc without all the overdubs, because the overdubs are really, really right, and they really work with it. But to hear just this raw force of that, In My Time of Dying, and all these things, it was superb. Before going in there, you sort of instinctively knew in the pit of your stomach that it was going to be great, that wonderful things were going to happen, and in fact they did.
It's quite a psychedelic sounding record, and for me it's like it took me a while to figure out what was going on, why, because a rock album, and why am I getting these psychedelic vibes from it? And I think it's that there's such a lot of repetition underneath in the rhythm section. There's a huge amount of repetition, like overly, which you probably wouldn't get from I mean David Bowie maybe, but you wouldn't get that at this time quite as much.
No.
And it gives it, I don't know, it gives it this almost like trance-like feel. It kind of pulls you in, and you're not quite sure whereabouts in the song you are. You can get lost in the songs, if that makes sense. You can kind of get a little bit lost in them. And I don't know, there is just something really, like, I can see why in the 70s people were like, there's albums that you would put on there and just completely lose yourself to, and you can see why this would have been one of those records. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't it? It's the best part of an hour and a half long, isn't it?
It is
something like that.
87 minutes.
Yeah, so an hour 20, whatever. And all the songs are like 10 minutes. They're not even, they're not even like 7 minutes or 6 minutes. There's some that are like 11, and
they vary, don't they? Like Custard Pie. Quite like that, 4 minutes.
Yeah, those first few.
The Rover 5.
Yeah.
In My Time of Dying, 11. That's the longest studio track they ever did.
Yeah.
Gets tagged as traditional gospel blues. It was also recorded by Bob Dylan. Now, Houses of the Holy, 4 minutes. Trampled Underfoot, 5 minutes. That's the end of the first chunk, right? And that, for me, that I love those. Those first 5, I'm good. I'm in there.
Even an 11-minute one.
Maybe I could skip. I might skip that one.
Skip that.
And then Kashmir comes in like on the. You've just turned your record over, and then you get Kashmir, Moroccan inspired. But just bonkers. Then you've got like In the Light is 8 minutes.
Yeah, I like that one.
I'm going to say this wrong, but Bron.
Yeah, that's the bit where I start liking the album actually.
Is it that kind of acoustic? It's funny. It sounds like it's been written on a beach. That does to me. It's got this lovely sound to it.
The name of that song is the shack that they stayed in
for 3.
For 3, and that was part of those. That acoustic piece was recorded as part of that, I think.
Apparently, it's got no electricity.
Yeah,
that shack in 1970.
Yeah, but it wasn't recorded there. That's probably written, but yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, unless they had his mobile.
A mobile generator going.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Didn't they borrow one of the guys with the faces?
Oh, I don't know.
Generator. Or not generator. It was like a studio in a truck.
Oh, Rolling Stones had one of those, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was the same one. It was oh God, who was it? Ron Lane.
I don't know.
Ron Lane's truck.
I don't know. This one was recorded at Headley Grange.
Yeah.
With Ronnie Lane's mobile studio.
Yeah.
Olympic Studios, Island Studios, all in London, and then it was mastered, I think, at Electric Lady Studios.
Yeah.
Which is I find it interesting because it sounds it doesn't sound like it's had any American production.
No,
anywhere near
totally
it. This sounds like
very.
This is what English rock music sounded like in the 70s. Yeah. And I didn't know this was done in the US or mastered in the US. I'd kind of assume it would have had a slightly different sound to it, but especially in New York as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's I don't know. Really interesting. I think that one.
It's really, really complicated, and I was talking about this the other day, and I said, well, there was a lot to remember, and the person who was interviewing me sort of looked as though he didn't really understand that just how much you had to remember when you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and you start, and you're going to get right through to the end of, as you say, 11 minutes, and it's got all these sort of different changes, and first time the pause will come, it might be 6 beats that you're going to do in a pause, and next time that pause comes, it might be 8 beats. Do you know what I mean? It's all this sort of thing, and it's such a musical landscape to remember, but there was just this fusion of the 4 of us, and it was just phenomenal.
meet me with another pair. Well, so I could die easy.
I know it's one that's really, really a favourite of fans because it's a double album. There's just so much character work on it. And so one thing about Led Zeppelin was it wasn't a format band, and it wasn't trying to replicate old singles of your own, you know, and being caught in that trap. We'd have rehearsals and all the rest, but all the time we would be pushing and pushing ourselves.
And I think that's the thing for me about Led Zeppelin that I didn't really ever understand. I think when I was learning about Led Zeppelin or things I'd heard about Led Zeppelin, it was always like rock and roll or, you know, pop, you know, the poppier ones, the popular ones.
Yeah.
And what you forget is that actually that, you know, these guys were really hell bent on pushing boundaries. They were a really hard working touring band. They were out on the road all the time, really super busy.
They toured hard, didn't they? The run up to this record, they were totally burned out and just stopped.
Yeah,
they were just like, you know, we
had a break from it. Collect themselves, then come back to it. But I think when it came, I think it was almost like there were two sides to them. There was that you know, absolute epitome of rock and roll live band, you know, rock stars and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's the studio version of the band, which is they're constantly pushing the envelope. They're constantly trying new ideas. They're really embracing new technologies, recording techniques, you know, microphones, unusual, like the whole thing with Headley Grange and that drum kit.
Yeah, you know, of course. And
obviously, it was the
the way the kit was recorded, wasn't it? So there was like there were like a million microphones, and it was mic'd tight. It was mic'd far away. It was there were mics catching the reverb in different rooms, and then that was all kind of woven together to get the sound that they got from it.
But the placement in the stairwell,
of the kit itself, the whole thing is just phenomenal. Though they like, it's not like. All of those things were pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
And to do all of them.
All of it.
You know, I mean, not like just, I know we're going to put the kit in the stairwell. We're going to do, you know, we're going to use all these different mics to go and get all these different sounds. It was like, no, we're just going to do all of it. And like, you know, you think, I don't know, like many other bands would have done maybe one of those things, and that would have been revolutionary.
Yes, yeah.
But here, this overflow of creativity to some degree.
But I think that comes with the technological advancements.
Yeah,
because they were able to bounce multi-tracks down. They were able to play with tape. They were able to, you know, do all that. But the crux of it appeared to be creativity.
It's the competence, isn't it? Like I think you just nailed it. That there is this there's this overflowing creativity throughout the whole of the band.
Yeah.
But this competence to go and execute, where often that may be where you're reliant on a producer or engineers.
Yeah.
But I think here the band are capable of doing it. They, you know, they're within themselves, they can, you know, bend and stretch things to do what they want. So it's not just as simple as you know. You can imagine many bands might have that creativity, and then they're trying to describe to the engineer the sound that they want. Like I've got this vision, and I want this sound, and the engineer's like, I don't really understand. You know, I don't know what you're telling me. Whereas here, that's in the same dude's head. Yeah. So he's like, no, I know what I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. You
and here's how you do it.
Yeah, and then you drum kits in. Your drum kits in the stairway. You've got 12 mics, you know, stretching down the road, kind of thing, and till it gives you what you want.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's the rarity of that. I think that's incredibly. And I mean, a lot of bands think that they had it, I think, but not to the same level here, not to the same, same competence, I think, an ability to execute.
I think it comes with a language though as well, in that, you know, Jimmy Page in particular always talks about Led Zeppelin as a project.
Yeah,
and he talks about like the music as an archive.
Yeah,
and he talks about, you know, the process of recording as construction. You know, like the songcraft is very engineered. It's very
it's meticulous, isn't it?
Yes, that's the right word for it. And I think, and you know, a lot of people were just like, I just write the songs and play the songs. But it does. Whereas he's like, no, we're excavating here.
But it's got that fluid. It's got that fluidity to it where it's got a lovely feel and flow to it. So all of these songs got a lovely feel and flow to them, and you wouldn't like. somebody told me that these were kind of almost jams to some degree, you'd be like, oh, okay, and I'm sure there is a massive amount of jamming here to go and get the riffs and stuff, but then it's that meticulous, like going over and over and over until it's where it was supposed to be, to where it was, where it ended up.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm thinking about is like there's that bit which Jimmy Page is, that's his
he's
baby,
a master of,
it's what he does.
Yeah.
But then you think about, well, where did the other guys fit in?
Yeah.
Obviously it feels a lot like Jimmy Page and John Bonham would be the first ones in the studio locking in and trying things out.
The rhythm, yeah.
But actually, and John Paul Jones was obviously a multi-instrumentalist, although he played Blaze, he played a lot of keyboard stuff, which I didn't know until we did the last one.
The bass here for me is just exquisite. I think it's easy to skip over the bass on this album, but it is, for me, it's one of the drums are just extraordinary.
Yeah.
But one of the things I hadn't, until we went and listened again for the show, I hadn't realised just how good the bass.
Yeah.
Not how good, but I guess how. I don't know. There are riffs in the bass. There are melodies in the bass line here that I don't think I'd ever heard before, and they're just exquisite, really cool.
Yeah, yeah, and then I always think about like, so what's Robert Plant doing?
Yeah,
because he's like an absolute animal live, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like he is the ringmaster. He's running the show. That's his sort of arena, and I just wonder whether he perhaps didn't get the same gratification out of the recording process as perhaps say Jimmy Page did.
Yeah. That's so Joe Elliott's interesting. Like that, he talks about that he really loves being the frontman of Def Leppard, and he does a lot of the writing as well. But actually, like Phil Collin will do most of the writing. He'll do tons of the songwriting, and like you say, I think the same is true here. I think the band, are they've all got their bit to play. They've all got their parts to play. It's I don't know. Like this album particularly. Normally the albums are like a point in time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where everybody is. This one isn't. This one is kind of this spread out over kind of 5 years or so.
Yeah.
But the thing that is amazing, like if you took almost any other band and stretched them over 5 years, that wouldn't sound as cohesive as this does, right? The musical styles are like really broad across the album.
Yeah, I remember listening to it and going, well, that's a
like gospel.
Like on the beach,
it's like blues.
That's like a gospel
it's like
blues. There's one that's like there's one that's like a massive, huge kind of like blues jam.
It's Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like this is one of the things that's really hard to pin down for me. Like prong sound like prong because they play prong music, and then but it's not very broad, right? It's like if I think to myself, sometimes I'll get to my desk and I'll think that I just want something massively industrial and riffy, and I grab prong and I put prong on. It doesn't matter which album I put on; it's going to sound like prong, and that's what I get. And I know it's prong because of that. Led Zeppelin isn't like that. Led Zeppelin is not the style of music that makes them sound like Led Zeppelin. It's the way the band play every style of music that makes you realise. Like John Bonham's drums, I think you could hear if John Bonham played for Slayer, you'd be like, that's John Bonham playing Slayer. But you can hear he's got that style, that inimitable style. Yeah. It's one of the reasons for me that made Greta Van Fleet hard to cope with, because they, like, I don't know how you haphazardly form a band that sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin,
a particular branch of Led Zeppelin.
And it's got and for me the thing was like the drumming and the vocals was like so. Do you know what I mean? Like, not copycat is the wrong word.
No,
I don't mean that.
But it was almost like a derivative of, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so similar to it. It's a bit like Airborne and AC/DC. You know, and they've got that. I don't know. That similarity is there, but I find it really, I don't know, improbable, right? Because and I think because of the unique musicians that you've got in Led Zeppelin and the way that band came together and the way they write songs and everything about them made them just different from everybody. Like you mentioned, they're the rules, right? They don't really follow them. The way they wrote songs wasn't the same. You know, they weren't the first band to do a double album like this, but they seemed to set the benchmark for the Use Your Illusions and you know, the stuff that came after. I mean, that's
interesting, isn't it? Because it's all right looking at this now with the lens of history on it, but it's at the time, isn't it? And it's what it informed at the time.
I mean, I wonder if Roger Waters would have done The Wall, and then and you've got you know, I mean, like I say, you Use Your Illusion as well. Yeah, I've never heard Axl talk about Led Zeppelin as a influence. I'm sure it'd probably be you know, we're too rock and roll to have influences, but I do wonder if, like, a lot of those big kind of sprawling and melancholy, maybe in those big kind of sprawling rock albums wouldn't have you know, because this sold incredibly well.
I was thinking about, like, you know, Queen kind of came out of the gate shortly around this time, and then afterwards, didn't they?
Yeah.
And actually, when you listen to early Queen, it's not dissimilar to this.
It's
you know, like their really early proggier stuff, you know, isn't a million miles away from what this is.
They were another band that was hard to pin down, weren't they? That was like utterly chaotic from like you can imagine. I can imagine the record label for Queen, and Queen, like, you know, what you got this time, and they turn up and they've got, like, you know, like a drum and bass album, or they've got, do you know what I mean? You never know what Queen were going to give you. I can imagine them just, like, bracing themselves, having some Valium, brilliant. Just, is it going to be like? Do you know what I mean? Is it going to be like a mega rock album, or is it going to be something else? And it's similarly, not to the same degree, I don't think. Well,
it was theatrical, wasn't it? And it was almost caricatured in many ways, but you know, it's still great. You know, great songcraft and all that. But I was just really zooming in on that early period of Queen before they became Queen. Before they became the thing, the monster they became.
For me, a lot of these. The debut albums for me are the ones that often mean the most, you know, because there's an honesty and an authenticity, and I love reading biographies, especially musicians' biographies. But one of the things I particularly enjoy is that that similarity across the board of artists who've had a successful debut, and then what do we do now? You know, like that album didn't come from nowhere. That was an album that I've been writing since I was 11, 12 years old, you know, and then it all came together perhaps in, you know, late teens or 20s or whatever. So there's maybe a decade's worth of experiences in songcraft and writing to go and pull that together. And then all of a sudden you're now a commodity, and it's just like, right, you've got like 12 months. Do you know what I mean? Go and
make that.
Make a record, make a follow up. Whatever will happen there, you now need to be better than that. And I love that kind of I don't know, like imagining what that was like. Because often the follow-ons are great too, and you just think how do you deal with that pressure? How do you cope with that? But I think it's interesting here though, because they had so much money and power at this point. Led Zeppelin basically stuck two fingers up at the world and just kind of went, we'll do what we want and we'll do it when we want it. And then they just disappeared off into disappeared onto Headley Grange pretty much and figured it out. It's not a recipe, I don't think, for great creativity. You know what I mean? It's not like no pressure, dead relaxed. Band all pretty much get on with each other. You know what I mean? It's like, and we've talked before about often these great albums come from conflict or pressure or something. There's something driving the thing here, and like there's none of that around the band. Like this could have tanked. And Led Zeppelin would have been absolutely fine. You know, they'd been like, whatever, you know. And I think the thing,
they had nothing to prove at this point.
No, nothing to prove and nothing to gain. Really, there was like, you know, they were already great. Everyone thought they were great, so there was like, you know, making another great album is just what's expected. So all that they can do here is fail, right? They can't be, you know what I mean? It's like if you're the world champion at something, all you can do is be the world champion again. You know, you can't. you know what I mean? It's you just, by kind of going and competing again, you're just inviting failure of not being able to do it again. And I think a lot of it is down to Jimmy Page's drive.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned it's that like technical excellence of being able to push it's like, how far can I push this? What magic can I do in the studio? And that love of being able to do that stuff.
You know what's just funny is he's very detail oriented when it comes to music, isn't he?
He is. You said he was a nerd earlier, and I thought it was just such a good
in an affectionate way, like can be quite a negative connotation. I didn't mean it at all negatively.
No, but he comes across as being like this kind of, you can imagine him like properly nerding out in the dark in the studio, no one else there, obsessing over some minutia just and not necessarily from a like an Axl Rose kind of diva style, but just, I want to know how this works. And you can imagine him going like down a complete rabbit hole of an instrument or a recording technique, and then just kind of going, oh, I'm not going to do that, and then going to the next one. I can just imagine him just like obsessing over the detail in the studio. And I don't know, he's a I think that, I mean, imagine him in today's world. He'd be obsessed with plugins, wouldn't he? He'd have all of the things going. But it's funny. Like back then, this would have all been physical, wouldn't it? Everything that he was doing was physical and mixed down. It was on tape. It was, you only had 4 tracks, so you'd have had to mix down and get more tracks, and then like all of these things would have been like physical switches and knobs and cables that were looped together, like a mad scientist almost. But yeah, very, very, very cool time, I think. I mean, not that he was the only one. There was obviously a lot of, I mean, Pink Floyd were.
Exactly.
They were.
But I think they were very much like in that Abbey Road world, weren't they? There was like, the nerds and the geeks were kind of around them. Yeah. Oh, and they did their thing, and then that was captured. Yeah,
that is very true. They were. I think they like you say, they would experiment, tell the engineers what they wanted, and then they would
collaborate to get there
and figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think Jimmy was doing this. It was on his terms, wasn't it? He was doing it. And this was in his studio, wasn't he? So he had his own studio as well at this point, and he had his own 4 tracks and stuff. We had a 4-track at school. I'm sure it wasn't quite the same as this, but I remember it had rubber wheels that you scrolled around, and no one knew what any of them did. It had like each track had like 4 or 5 of these rubber buttons. And I remember we would also, and I remember there was one guy there called Neil Wiley, and he would just come in and like just like frown at us all and move them all back to the middle. There you go. That's what we did.
There you
go. I started annotating my own archive, listing everything that went back to like the very earliest. It was all analog tape that I was doing, and it went back to like the early little sort of 3 1/4-inch reels that were done at home when I lived with my parents, and it goes to a 5-inch reel, and did home demos, and I was going all the way through, and it got through all the material that I had. I was logging it and collating it and making notes all through the Yardbirds, and then of course it gets to Led Zeppelin. And I'd started to do some of that, but I must say that I'd had an idea that was along the lines of the project that we're all now familiar with, the re-releases, but somehow these sort of gems that were sitting around could come out. I had another plan, but this was far more ambitious and much lengthier, and far more relevant, I think, to the whole picture of what was needed to be sort of presented, an audible picture of what went on in the studio. When it comes to the Led Zeppelin aspect of it, it was hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours of listening to tape, because you've got to listen to it in real time, and then say you've selected a title and you're going listening to everything you've got around that title, and there's copious notes being made, and it's a lengthy project, but I knew it was worthwhile.
then again it will be. Though the course may change sometimes, rivers always reach the sea. Blind skies of fortune, each have separate way. On the wings of maybe, downy birds of prey. Kinda makes me feel sometimes didn't have to go. But as an eagle leaves the nest, got so far to go. Changes fill my time, baby, that's alright with me. In the midst I think of you and how it used to be.
it was possible. It was possible, quite probable, that we arrive at a double album, but you couldn't just say we're doing a double album, let's just see how it all goes. But the way that the material was sort of pouring out and shaping up, it was clear that it was going to be.
There are obviously all of these remasters coming, and companion discs, projects that were coming out with the original records, and that's all Jimmy Page just getting lost in all the archives, and just going back to what we
finding more stuff,
but then almost using that to tell the story of the development of the songs and that sort of thing, and the ideas. And I think that's really good.
Well, the early demos and instrumentals and things that he just pulled through. Yeah, I think. But again, as to your point, I think
he loves it.
Yeah, it's a recording nerd. Loves being in there. Loves doing that.
Yeah. Because we went into the studio a few weeks ago with a guy called Mark Gardner, who was from Ride.
Yeah.
And he,
I remember you saying,
he loves it. Like you can tell, he's that in, he's got some really good gear, really the name stuff, but it's not the plugins. It's the real boxes with the real twiddly knobs.
The real twiddly knobs. There's something about twiddling a real knob, I think.
Yeah, but you can sort of tell that he absolutely loves it. He's invested a huge amount of himself and finances, but also his own ability, in his own
it was time as well
to kind of do it, and with a beautiful desk and stuff. And that sort of got me thinking that there is something in it. There is something in that getting lost in the tapes, getting lost with the desk, but having something physical around you. Because I've always been in, as you know, like in the box. Yeah, everything's in the computer and all that sort of stuff for me. But
that's where you're millennials. So
I grew up with that.
You grew up with that kind of stuff.
And plugins. And
you were just I guess ahead of the analog world, right? So
but having and I think the wiring would drive me mad, and having to keep but I can see the value in having a few tried and tested, because the problem you get with recording when you do this sort of stuff, like with what you do with Pro Tools or whatever, is you get options fatigue, so you don't ever get anything done, because you're getting so lost in finding
you've not got
things.
One compressor, you've got 10 compressors, and you've got I know what you mean.
But one thing that I've sort of got quite good at now is I have a go-to mic setting, or I have a go-to like start point, if you like, like bass amp that I love to use when I'm recording with Rich or whatever, and there's like a guitar Neve thing that I love, I love that, and it's just interesting that once you've gone through the options, but you have to spend hours and hours doing it, then actually you find the thing that you like. And I think that's the point I'm getting at with Jimmy Page, is that he's obviously spent all of those hours, like tens and hundreds of hours, pouring through things to just find the moment, find the bit that needs to be pulled out.
It's funny when we've talked about albums being a point in time. It's your to Jimmy Page's world, it's an archive. It's you're committing that point in time to tape, right? You're recording it
like a time capsule.
And then if we look back at some of the statements you've made over the years, where it's like your mood, what you had for breakfast, how you're feeling, that comes out in the way you play, in the way you do things. And also I think that's down to the producer and engineers as well. Like if they're having a good mood, everybody's or not necessarily a good mood, but the mood and the feeling that everybody's kind of got. It's just blokes in a room, and it's funny. It's that there is something different about interacting tactically with something than using a computer screen. If I get in our electric car. It's all screens. There's no physical buttons anywhere, and I feel really different than when I get in my old car, and I feel like I'm in the Millennium Falcon, and I've got switches, and I go and click things. I click things I don't need to. I click things. I switch them off, and I switch them back on again, because I like how it makes me feel when a physical switch makes a click, and it's not. And I think, oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah, and I'm in a better mood. I'm like, this has made me in a better mood. And I swear that, and not always, because I know that the analog audio gear was fraught. I spent a lot of years as a teenager swearing at analog audio gear. It's not always doing what you want, but there is definitely something about that, you know, do you know what I mean? Like that connecting, physically connecting with the thing. I don't know. I would not be surprised if we go back. We temper that. I don't think that we'll see that for live shows.
No,
do you know, like the Kemper and the? Did you ever play just with the quad? Have you?
Yeah, well, the quad Cortex now. Yeah.
And so I don't think they're going anywhere because they sound so good live, and sound engineers don't have to, you know, faff about. I think they're awesome. But I do think in it's like a studio, having stuff you can poke at and smell, and it gets hot, and I don't know. For me, there's just I think there'll be a bit of a resurgence of that. Yeah. Although, having said that, I did read today that the kids of today don't have like speakers anymore.
No, they just do it on their phone. Yeah,
everything's done on your phone.
Yeah,
or at most, you have a Bluetooth speaker, and that made me really sad. A little bit inside of me was just like, what? Yeah, and it's massive. It's not just a little. It's not like 60% of Gen Z do it. All of them do it. Yeah, like none of them own 2 speakers. Well, they might have 2 Bluetooth speakers, one in each room, but they don't have. and everybody's the
day of stereo is dead. Yeah,
they might have a Sonos speaker or something, and it was just like, oh God, my little heart's dying a little bit here. Not that Sonos is bad, but typically it's one speaker, and it's you know, just stop it. Go and buy. Do you know what you should do?
Yeah,
just take your fancy Bluetooths. Yeah. Literally pick it up and put it in the bin, and then go and find a second-hand audio shop and go in and buy like an old Class A Trio and some old Leak speakers and just take them home. And it will sound awful, but you'll like it. And it will smell it.
Smell real.
It just smells high. I love that kind of hot smell when you get like, it's nice. And all of the like you need to go back far enough, I think, where you didn't have capacitive buttons. Yeah. Where if you press it and it doesn't clunk. Yeah. It's rubbish.
Yeah. It's got a clunk. I agree with that. I like a good clunk.
You got a clunk, and then what you do is you have a little spray of switch cleaner.
Yeah.
And you just waz it in. It's brilliant.
Is that the technical language?
Waz it.
Waz it.
Waz it in. Jimmy Page.
How do you spell waz?
W-A-Z.
Is it 2 Z's or 1?
I don't know. You could do either.
I bet, it depends on how hard.
I bet it's like if it's the
3 Z's is like super hard.
The British spelling is W-A-Z.
Yeah.
And Americans 2 Z's. Because they love a Z, don't they?
Yeah.
For our American listeners, we're pleased to give you another Z. Z.
Z. Yeah. 2 Z's.
2 Z's. Yeah. We have there's a couple of companies that we do work with, and they're American companies. And their names are pronounced with the Z, and I can't do it. I have to say Z.
Yeah.
And they're quite. And they say no. You're saying it wrong. It's Z. And I go, okay, I'll do it Z. And then the very next day, that's it. It's back to Z.
Yeah, back to Z.
And I will point you back to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Because Zed's dead, baby. Love Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. Absolutely. Don't make movies like that anymore.
No, they don't.
Like nonsense. Like what is going on?
Yeah.
Like out of order.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Why is it out of order?
Yeah.
Well, and so you can buy it in order. Somebody's chopped it up and put it in order.
Have they?
Yeah. Dickheads. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It was better back then.
Yeah.
I think it was better back then. Things smelled better.
Yeah. Things were in the right order. The right, wrong order.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The right, wrong order. I like, yeah. Yeah. No.
Shall we do some facts?
Shall I put my glasses on?
Yeah. Because we are at 70 minutes.
Well, it was only in keeping with the longest album. It's not the longest album.
Mate, last week was mental. We did like
7
the longest ever.
This is not the longest album we've recovered, but it is quite a long album. Yeah. This is Physical Graffiti. I can't spell it, is the first fact.
Graffiti's a hard word to spell,
2
isn't
T's.
it? Is it?
It's not got 2 T's, it's got 1 T. I always spell it with 2 T's.
So what is it, 2 F's?
Graffiti is 2 F's, 2 T's.
It's got
2 F's, 1 T.
2 F's, 1 T.
And I can't do that. Right. I always put 2 T's. T, graffiti.
Yeah.
It feels like it should have 2 T's, but it's not. It's only got 1. That's not really a fact, but it's a fact. Released 24th February 1975 on Swan Song Records, although it wasn't really released on Swan Song Records, it was released by Atlantic. Swan Song Records was their vanity label, so they could do what they wanted. Set up just for this, and they spent the entire year prior to this with their management team unpicking their legal responsibilities to Atlantic, and then re-released it on Atlantic anyway. Produced by Jimmy Page at Headley Grange in Hampshire, with Ronnie Lane's mobile studio, Olympic Studios in London, Island Studios in London, and then it was, I don't think it was mixed at Electric, I think it was mastered at Electric Lady Studios. My notes here are vague. How many tracks was it?
Oh, I don't know. 15.
Yeah, 15, which is too many. It's 82 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I think I struggle with this. I like the first 5 tracks. I'm with it. I'm in. It's great. I think if it had been another 2 tracks, I'd have loved this.
Yeah.
And it's just then it just goes off into this void.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, I'm lost now. I get absolutely lost with this record. Peaked at number 1 on the UK albums chart.
See, it's not the kind of album you expect to do that, is it?
Well, not with no singles and no PR and no they didn't really like the media very much. No. So although Jimmy Page is extremely eloquent, really good.
Yeah.
He didn't go on the normal do the normal interviews and stuff, which I think is interesting. It was number 1 in Australia and Canada and top 5 across most of Western Europe and Japan. It's been 16 times ranked platinum in the in the RIAA USA, counted as a double album platinum, multi-platinum across Canada, Australia, most European countries. Estimated sales roughly 8 million in the US alone, 16 million worldwide for an album that's 7 hours long. It's incredible. Interestingly, key singles was Trampled Underfoot and Houses of the Holy, only released in the US because the band famously would not allow singles released in the UK, which I think is interesting. Another interesting thing from this is they were 5 studio records in the 4.5 years before. He had Led Zeppelin 2, 3, this untitled 4th album that everyone calls Led Zeppelin 4, and then Houses of the Holy. This album charted so hard that it brought the other albums back into the charts, which is almost unheard of. It brought the entire discography. That's
happened a couple of times with Led Zeppelin.
The entire discography came back into the charts at the same time.
I think, if I remember rightly, I've got a feeling that I don't even think it was this album that came back. But you know when they used the Kashmir riff on Godzilla?
Oh, yeah. Who did that? Was that Puff Daddy?
Yeah, it was that kind of thing, wasn't it?
Sean Coombs. I don't know, do we call him Sean or Puff?
Sean.
Or Daddy?
I'm sure that brought it all back as well. There was a huge Led Zeppelin resurgence from there as well. And there's been a few waves of it.
Yeah. It's also in the movie Almost Famous. What I watched.
I don't think I ever watched it all the way through.
I watched it this week. Lizzie got really grumpy because I couldn't sleep. One of the cats was being a dickhead, and anyway, he annoyed me yowling around the house and stuff at 11 o'clock. So I got my tablet and just sat down in bed and put my headphones on and started to watch Almost Famous, and then just watched it all the way through, and it was just brilliant, really, really cool, about rock and roll, about Black Sabbath are in it. The music is awesome as it goes. It's very of this era. Just a cool it's a cool movie, almost pointless. Do you know what I mean? The stories of these people, it's not landing like some kind of big message at you. It's just the story of this band that were becoming popular, and the people that went out on tour with them, and a journalist that went on tour with them, and the groupies that were around them, and just how that meanders through the world. And it's just a very, very cool movie. But it's got Led Zeppelin in it. Which is interesting. I thought that they were very tight about who could use their music, but
there's been a few things about that. There weren't.
Kashmir has certainly been used. A lot. But
I think there was just there were certain songs they let out of the bag, I think, and then others that They didn't want it used on other.
I wondered if some of this, I don't think this is the case, but I wondered if some of this was to do with Atlantic versus the stuff that was recorded on their own label, they kept artistic control over, but Kashmir was recorded on that, and they still used it.
Yeah.
More facts. The aeroplane heard at the start of Black Country Woman was real. The track was being recorded where? Outdoors in the garden of Mick Jagger's country house, Stargroves, in 1972. When a plane flew over, engineer Eddie Kramer, you can hear him asking Plant if he wants to start again, and Plant's exact words on the tape were, "No, leave it." And then it was also kept in the mix. The whole lot was kept. John Paul Jones almost left the band before these sessions started in late 73. He told Peter Grant he was thinking of accepting a job as a choir master at Winchester Cathedral. That's rock and roll. Grant took the request seriously, told the others Jones was simply ill, and gave him a few weeks to think it over. And he came back. The album's cover, and this is something I did not know until I did this search for this. The album's building, the cover of the building. Do you know what's special about it?
No.
The actual building is 6 stories, and they removed the top floor and the basement so it would fit on a square record sleeve. And the buildings are 96 and 98 St. Mark's Place in New York's East Village, still standing and remain one of the most photographed addresses in Manhattan.
Wow.
But they're quite clearly the wrong shape. So, Boogie with Stew is partly credited to Mrs. Valens.
Now what's this again? Because there was some rights thing, wasn't there?
Yeah, meaning Conception Valenzuela, the mother of Richie Valens. The credit was an attempt by the band to get royalties to her, since the melody borrows from Richie's "Oh My Head." The Valens estate sued anyway, and the case was settled out of court. The album's release made Led Zeppelin the first band to have all 6 of their existing studio albums on the Billboard 200 in the same week in March 1975. Bron E. Ur. All my Welsh friends will be throwing things at from the valleys. From my old Mac Luke buddies will be like, "Whoa, you dickhead." The 2-minute solo guitar piece on side 3 was actually recorded in July 1970 during sessions for Led Zeppelin 3. It sat unused for almost 5 years before being included here on Physical Graffiti. The cottage of the same name in Gwynedd, Wales has no electricity to this day. The song Houses of the Holy on side 1 of Physical Graffiti was recorded for the Houses of the Holy album in 1972. It was cut at the very last minute. Jimmy Page felt it sat oddly with the rest of that record's material. It's the only Zeppelin song to share its title with an entirely different album. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, I do.
Like 2/3 of this album doesn't sound like it fits on this album, and he's fine with it. I think it's bizarre that he would have made that choice, especially with such an amazing song. In My Time of Dying is 11 minutes 4 seconds. It's the longest studio track Led Zeppelin have ever released. At the end of that, you can hear John Bonham coughing and joking, cough, cough, that's got to be the one, hasn't it? And that was kept in. Again, Jimmy Page's request.
I like that. I like little studio moments like that staying on record.
Yeah. Rolling Stones do a lot of that as well, the early stuff. I like it when you can hear that kind of stuff, studio stuff. Peter Corriston's sleeve design, so he was the guy that designed the album's artwork, won the 1976 Grammy for Best Album Package. Corriston went on to design Some Girls, Emotional Rescue, and Tattoo You for Rolling Stones. The Trampled Underfoot riff was directly inspired by Stevie Wonder's Superstition. Now,
the Clavinova thing.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I was like, it totally does. Which had been a US #1 in January 1973. John Paul Jones plays the same Hohner D6 clavinet that Wonder used in the original. The DAD-GAD tuning that Page uses on Kashmir is the same alternate tuning he used on Black Mountain Side on the first album. He picked it up in the mid-60s from Davy Graham, a British folk guitarist who had used it to play Moroccan and Indian melodies.
That's really interesting.
I wonder if that's kind of what gives it some of this...
It is as well, but also Dadgad is now used quite a lot in folk music.
Yeah,
It's quite open, open tunings and Dadgad and stuff.
Frank Turner's a big fan of the Dadgad.
Yeah.
Despite being released on Zeppelin's own Swan Song label, the album was distributed in the US and most of the world by Atlantic, the band's previous label. The Swan Song imprint was a vanity label rather than a fully independent operation. And that's it for facts.
Good facts. Yeah, very good. Shall we?
Beggar's Banquet next. Is
that what we're doing?
I don't know. I think we should. We can't not. Can we not? We've got to do that next, haven't
we? Yeah.
While we're in this era.
Yeah, well, we'll play a song. And
do you say era or era?
Era.
Era or era?
Do you say era?
I don't know.
That's like Z and Z.
Some of my American friends say era.
I wouldn't.
I do like American.
I don't think they're friends, mate. Honestly, I
like American English for the most part. Like they're like simplified the language. When do you know the history behind it?
Aluminum.
The history behind the American language. So obviously we gave them that, right? So so here's the American language, right? Here's the English language. You can have it. Well, I don't know what we did. Didn't we invade or whatever we did, right?
Yeah. We properly
here's some English in that, and so they used it when the country was being Americanized, right? So kind of in the independence. The dictionary, the Merriam. We have the English Oxford Dictionary, which is better. Yeah, they've got the Merriam-Webster.
That's an American one, is it?
Now,
right.
And I always get these mixed up unless I've kind of prepared. This is part of a talk that I used to give about language and stuff. But I think it was Webster. Anyway, one of them was tasked to simplify the language. So basically went through and all of the stupid words that we have that are spelled totally differently from how they sound. They were like, well, we'll just change that. And that's what happened. And then we got invaded by the French and they put U's in our language. And then, but that's when the Zs came in. And then we got, so they got, their language got simpler and the S's turned into Zs. And we got Frenchified and U's added into ours because we got absolutely royally buggered by the French. So they came and did our language. And then, and that's what happened. That's why they're a little bit different.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So but for the most part, American English is simpler and clearer
and better
than our language because we've still got,
right though, is it?
We've still got the history.
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously better and simpler and more
clearer in that.
Clearer, but it's not right.
I listened to this is going to go off piste a little bit. I listened to someone talking.
I'll tell you what though, haven't we done well tonight?
I think so.
With off piste, we even started on task.
On task. We didn't announce ourselves or who we are.
We didn't. No.
We're Riffology.
I'm Chris.
An hour and a half. I'm Neil. About an hour and a half into the podcast. You've done really well to get here. So I was reading this week about AI models. Like so the way AI models talk to each other is typically in English.
Not American English.
Yeah, it would mostly be American. So they're trained on the internet. So you think about the internet is mostly American English. Yeah, that's what they get trained on.
The Zs.
Yeah, and anyway, this one of the AI engineers is saying that there is this tiny next step where the models will start to talk to each other. In a more efficient language, where they won't have to use English.
Yeah, it'd be bleeps and bloops.
Yeah, or they'll use something
R2D2 basically.
I like R2D2.
Yeah,
I've got a T-shirt with R2D2 on. But that gets interesting for me. Do you know what gets interesting? Shall I tell you what gets interesting? It gets interesting because right now I use AI models all day to build stuff. Right, they're busy whizzing code out and doing all the bits and pieces. Now, I'm a human, a rather aging human, but I'm a human, and I can understand all this. I can understand all the code.
Yeah,
and I can even understand the thought process that the AI model's going through.
Yeah.
Once it starts using its own language, I can't understand what it's saying anymore.
Yeah.
And the AI engineer was basically saying, look, that will be one of the next steps where the models will start to talk to each other using a completely different language.
Yeah.
And then also all of the programming languages that we use to build stuff with, without fail, were all written for humans. Like, even the newest language, like Rust and stuff like this, they're all contextual human languages.
Yeah.
They
don't need that.
Why would these AI models do that? Why not have a AI specific model, AI specific language that was there? And once that happens,
is that where it goes Skynet?
Well, once I've got that T-shirt as well. Once that happens. And I've got one that says, "Sorry, Dave, I can't do that." but then,
everybody's dead, Dave.
Yeah, once that happens, oh God, I love it. Once that happens, well, what do we do?
Yeah. There's no point.
I'll tell you what we do. We go into a recording studio and we click big buttons. AI can't click buttons. No. It can't sniff an amp. Did I ever tell you that story about my friend? My friend Russell.
Amp sniffer.
Oh God, it's just making me think about this. It's making me laugh. So Russell had these. He had these amazing monoblocks, these Krell monoblock amps, absolutely gorgeous things, proper things of engineering beauty, like 25 kilos each. Yeah. And I remember they were all used. He bought one from one secondhand shop and then couldn't afford it and then waited and bought the other one. Anyway, so he had these two amps, and his stereo setup was awesome. And his mom was a mad cat lady. She had like 13 or 14 cats at one stage.
No.
And in the winter, I remember going round to his house, and we were sitting in his bedroom listening to Bryan Adams' Reckless.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
sitting there. Yeah. And then one of his mum's cats came in and urinated into the amp vent because it was nice and warm. And then he was like shooing the cat out, and his mum came in. You can't tell him off because you've got a warm, it's got a warm draft, and he likes it on his undercarriage kind of thing. And then we had to take this amp apart, and it was just full of cat wee in the bottom, like rusty cat. It was honestly.
No.
But these things, these things were beautiful. They were like absolutely beautiful things, big heat sinks and gorgeous things. And it was. I remember feeling really sad. Yeah. AI can't do that.
No.
Ain't gonna do that.
No. Right, I should put a tune on and then say the album we're going to do next week, which we've already said.
Beggars Banquet. Nailed it.
And if you feel that you can't go on, and you're low, just believe, and you can't go wrong. In the light, you will find the road. You will find the road. Hey, ooh, did you ever believe that I could leave you standing out in the cold? Hey, yeah, baby, I know how it feels, 'cause I have slipped through to the very depths of my soul, yeah. Oh, baby, I just want to show you what a clear view there is from every bend standing in the road. Now listen. Oh, whoa, whoa. As I was relieved before you too, honey, as you would for me. Oh, I will share your love. Let me share your love. Ooh, let me share your love. Everybody needs a line. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, baby. Everybody, everybody, everybody. She's not that dude.
That's my favourite one. That one.
Is it?
Yeah, Into the Light. Yeah, my favourite one on that record.
What is that? It sounds Moroccan-y, so it's got that kind of
the droney stuff at the start.
Yeah. What is that instrument?
It's a synth.
Is it?
Yeah. So they were using synths, but what they're trying to get is like a very folky kind of a drone with a top line.
Do you know? I think it's the folk influence here that I think I hadn't. I mean, it's been a long time since I've listened to this album all the way through, and I hadn't remembered that kind of folky.
But that comes in across all their records.
I remember the bluesy aspect to it, but it was the folky bit that,
and where they went afterwards, with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant doing their own sort of thing and teaming back up and doing a couple of bits. They were always really folky sounding things. Yes, right. That's it then. Beggar's Banquet. I
like Beggar's Banquet. It's shorter. No, I do. I like. Do you know one of the things I like about the Rolling Stones? They started as a covers band.
Yeah.
And they couldn't play.
Yeah.
And then they learned how to do covers, and then
they used
just
those
fell into writing music. And I don't know. I like the kind of almost haphazard. I don't know. I like the fact that they're still recording. There's something that's super cool about the Stones, I think.
Yeah.
I don't like the Beatles.
No.
That's really weird, isn't it? That's probably going to get everyone screaming at me, but I love the Stones.
Yeah.
I like quite a lot of music around this time.
Yeah. I don't ever think I've had a proper listen to the Stones.
You're not?
No.
I think people are kind of either...
I listen to the songs, like the obvious ones.
So I think people are either Beatlesy or Stonesy.
Yeah.
And like Beatles to me are kind of the pop melodies.
Yeah.
That there's just it's very singy. It's very kind of. Whereas the Rolling Stones is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like darker. It's a little bit more
rock and roll.
Yeah, they had
the Beatles and the Beach Boys. They're boy bands, weren't they?
Yeah. There's more attitude, I think, from.
I think
from
the Beatles kind of went somewhere. They went somewhere else. They went and the Beach Boys did as well. To be fair,
I read a lovely documentary about the Beatles, and they said that they and they were the first boy band. Well, I say first boy, they were kind of one of the biggest bands on the planet. But they were, I think, one of the very first that realised that they were a commodity.
Yeah.
And the way that their image, and the Stones too, actually, but the image and the way they portrayed themselves in the press. For the Beatles, it was this, goody. They were good boys. They were, and the Rolling Stones, it was more about kind of drugs and girls and rock and roll. And it was interesting. That it was kind of. I'm sure there was some of this previous, but they were the first two like huge occurrences of it, where they were just. Like caricatures of themselves almost. It was like they're obviously. Just normal people behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But in front of the press, they had these characters to play.
Yeah.
And played their part, and that was the product. That was who they were. So it'd be cool that we've been threatening the Rolling Stones for forever and that. And so this will be
get one done. Bosh.
Get one in. Do you know I wanted to buy an original Beggar's Banquet on the vinyl.
Yeah,
I've got a re-release version of it.
Yeah,
which I like, but I don't. It's one of those where it's like it's either rubbish and sounds like someone's vomited on it, or it's £1 million, and signed by. Do you know what I mean? It's like there doesn't seem to be much in the middle. So
yeah,
I'm going to go while you're doing this next because Chris has to do some faffing.
Yeah,
and I get left to my own devices for 10 minutes, which is where I go on Discogs and buy stuff. So I might go and have a look.
There we go. Oh, can we just say that we had bongo cokes?
We had bongo cokes
ready,
and we had Lindsay's fruit pastels.
We've got one left,
Lindsay. So they're good. I like. I'm not a night owl.
No,
I don't like staying up late, and we do stay up late to do this.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Yeah.
I find it really challenging. So I'll be smashed off my face on fruit pastels and Diet Coke, and then you go home to bed.
Yeah,
and I can't. I just stare at I just stare at the ceiling. I can't. And one of my favorite YouTubers is Matt Armstrong. And so I'm in that routine now of getting back on a Sunday or a Monday, and I watch Matt Armstrong, and then afterwards I watch. You'll like Bob from the Machine Shop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you a link to Bob from the Machine Shop. He does welding.
Ooh.
He's welding, hammering, angle grinding, and he's lovely. Long hair, rocker, lovely guy.
Doesn't tie it up.
Yeah, but he has a little ponytail.
I see.
Which it's just, I was telling my kids how brutal it was at school, and they really don't believe me how brutal it was when we were at school.
What if you had a ponytail?
And then I remember one of my friends at school he had long hair, came into school one day with a ponytail, right? And his name was Anthony, and he was called Gay Tony for the next 15 years. He's not gay. He's not gay. He got called Gay Tony because he came to school with a ponytail
for one day.
And it's just like that. That's just how it was.
That's how it was.
That's how it was. And we all just rolled with it. Looking back.
Did it get to the point where his parents just go, "Oh, I'm Gay Tony's man."
Oh my god, that's exactly what used to happen. That kind of stuff, wasn't it? Yeah. Honestly, just
went with it.
I mean, I'm sure I've told you before. My mad mate, there was Porno Chris. It was just all my mates had really stupid to the point where you would just not introduce because they were their names. That was what they were called. No one knew their actual names.
No,
it was just
no.
Who's coming go-karting? And you have to write down on the waiver, Porno Chris. Gay Tony.
Yeah.
You'd have to go and write that down.
Yeah.
It was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a guy called Bob who had a mate called Bob. His name wasn't Bob. They called him Bob because he smelled of BO. Oh my God. That was it.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
You'd just, I don't know, probably go to prison these days, wouldn't you, for that? Good God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.